Hey, David, how will the 15% primary threshold affect who wins the Democratic primary? So there's another way. I think that what people are trying to get to is the 15% threshold going to screw this candidate or that candidate? So there's a couple things to understand. In the Democratic primaries, there is a 15% threshold where if you don't get 15% of the vote, you don't get any of the delegates. This is particularly important in the bigger states because in the smaller states, there are often so few delegates to go around that besides the sort of momentum impact of it, it's not really mathematically that important to be getting delegates from the small states as long as you can continue justifying staying in the race. But if no candidate meets the 15% threshold, what the Democratic Party rules say is that the minimum to receive delegates becomes half of the front runner's vote share. So imagine that you have a state where a candidate wins with 14% of the vote. That's the plurality, 14%. And then, someone else has 13 and 12, whatever. It adds up to 100. If the winner has 14%, everybody with 7% or more delegates gets delegates. So that's in the rules. But let's put that aside for a second because that's not the most likely scenario. In later states, in really big states, you could see this become a factor in the broader delegate math. So imagine that California goes the way one recent national poll says. Imagine that Biden gets 23% of the vote in California, Warren gets 18, and Bernie gets 14, hypothetically, right? Because Bernie didn't get 15% of the vote, Bernie gets 0, which means that Biden gets his 23%, Warren gets her 18%. It actually can go up once you eliminate people sub 15, but ignore that for now. But the really important thing about this is that Bernie and Warren in this scenario have 32%, a strong progressive contingent that has more support than Biden. But that 15% threshold could make it so that the progressive candidates get kneecapped and end up getting 0 in some states because one of them didn't get to the 15%. This is why I get emails from people saying, David, at some point, shouldn't Bernie or Warren drop out? Because if they make it so that neither or only one of them gets 15% and the other ends up getting no delegates as a result of that, isn't it going to help the establishment, basically Joe Biden, win? The answer is yes, but this is why it's good for the early primaries to help one candidate build momentum over the other. The most likely scenario for how this is going to go is that after Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada, and South Carolina, after they all vote, I think there is going to be a clear momentum advantage for either Bernie or Warren as the progressive candidates. And I think that in the end, the one with the momentum is going to take a significant lead over the one that doesn't have it. And this issue of splitting the progressive vote will be less and less of an issue as the campaign goes forward. I could be wrong. And if that doesn't happen, then it is possible that the progressive wing of the Democratic Party will be hurt by this. But my expectation is that the first 4 primaries will establish which of the 2 progressives is going to go the distance, and that then you will very quickly start to see support coalescing around one or the other. If you think it won't go that way, then I want to hear from you. Either leave a comment if you're watching on YouTube or send me a tweet at @dpakman. We've got a fantastic bonus show for you today with producer Pat. Become a member at joinpakman.com or a patron at patreon.com/David Pakman Show to get instant access to that bonus show.